8:30, so we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, and thank you all for joining. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Watershed Wednesday. I'm Emily Decar. I'm the Ag Coordinator for the Upper Susquehanna Coalition. Watershed Wednesdays are hosted by the Upper Susquehanna Coalition and the Otsego County Conservation Association, so we also have Amy on the phone. She's hosting the Zoom call today. These weekly sessions are taking the place at the Upper Susquehanna Watershed Forum for 2020 since we're unable to meet in person. We have 2 more sessions scheduled for 2020, the next 2 upcoming Wednesdays, and we'll post the schedule at the end of today's session. To get things started, I'd like to introduce our presenter today, Miranda Palmer from the Tioga County Soil and Water Conservation District. Miranda's been developing customer testimonials from landowners regarding recent implementation projects. So she's going to go over some of the ins and outs of creating live video testimonials and show us some examples. With that, I'll turn it over to Miranda.
Thanks, Emily. Good morning, everyone. So welcome to this week's Watershed Wednesday. Today, I'm going to dive into a little bit of information on some short customer testimonial videos that the USC worked to develop throughout the fall. Over the summer, the USC had sent out a survey asking for what you all wanted to see, and one of the suggestions was a series of testimonials from customers. After further discussion between the USC teams and a few projects across the watershed were selected, and we got to work. So when selling a product, one of the most important things that a successful business has to do is give their customers the information that they need to make an informed purchasing decision. However, like anything, marketing has changed over the years, and today it has essentially become an open line of communication between you and the people that you're trying to serve or your customers. For this reason, the development of customer testimonials is crucial, especially in a world today where we're looking to get the word out virtually. Instead of taking our word for it that we can have a positive impact on the lives of our customers, it's much more valuable to let our customers hear from other real customers why the decision they're about to make is a good one. So just a brief overview. A customer testimonial is essentially just a recommendation from a satisfied customer or an endorsement for product or service. And it's important to make them so that we can share our story, spread the good word about the work that we're doing, and it really allows us to make real life connections with customers. When we first started brainstorming how to approach making a customer testimonial series, there were certainly considerations that we need to keep in mind. The first one was who. So essentially, who are we trying to reach? Who is our audience? In our case, the audience was extremely vague. We considered that the videos might be utilized for other districts and partners to get some ideas on projects, but also the general public might look at them to learn more about the work that districts do, and potentially landowners or customers looking to see what type of services we offer, or even funding sources and agencies looking to see what types of projects that we've been able to complete. And then the other important consideration was why. So there are many answers to the why. And by making the videos, it allows us to share our stories, show our local communities the types of work that we do, show farm owners, or show how farm owners are good stewards of the environment and how certain practices can improve water quality. However, in addition to all of these great things, it helps us to attract new customers. So by telling our story, it helps our customers to keep their local districts in mind when considering natural resource projects. So our video focus, the areas that we focused on when making the videos, when working to make the video series, the core focus of each video was broken down into 3 different categories. The first one would be the introduction, which was just a review of basic information, who, what, when, where, why, just getting to know both the customer and the district themselves. And then next came in the customer interview. So when doing the customer interview, I was looking for information on why the customer and the district partnered, what types of issues the landowners were trying to resolve, and if they were looking to increase their efficiency. And lastly, how conservation played a role in the project. And the third component was just a brief project overview, which included interviews between both the district and the customer. So when we did the project overview, we were looking to see what types of positive results we're seeing, what the environmental benefits of the project were, and how the project changed the way that the operation managed. So we sent each district that made a customer testimonial with us an email with these exact focus areas to help them really prepare on what questions that we were going to ask, and so that they could also share them with the project landowners so that the landowners could think about what they might like to say. So when we made the customer testimonials, it was very basic equipment that was utilized. We really wanted to use what we had, and we felt that we would be more apt to make them in the future if we made it as simple as possible. So while these aren't Hollywood productions, they certainly are capable of telling our story. So to shoot the videos, all I used was an iPhone 6, and the pictures and videos were very clear. It didn't cost us anything because that's something we already had. I also purchased a lavalier microphone that attached to the phone. I generally just use that in instances where it was extremely windy. Otherwise, the phone does a really remarkable job at picking up the audio. That cost $9.99 from Amazon. And the most important thing that we had to purchase was some video editing software. Melissa from the USC and I both tried multiple different platforms, and I think that we both agree that most user-friendly platform that we found was an application called Powerdirector. The cost is $51.99 for an annual plan, and you can see on the bottom of the screen, that's kind of a screenshot of what the software looks like. So it allows you to plug and play different video types as well as other media, and you just kind of click and drag, and it was really user-friendly. I had no editing experience before we made these videos, and I would say it was easy to pick up on after a little while. So we spent $61.98 to have the equipment to make the videos, which I think is pretty affordable, considering the reach that the audience we can get on a virtual platform. So I'm gonna show you guys one of the videos that we made to give you an idea of what type of quality just an iPhone and a little microphone and some video editing software can give.
My name is Moyer. This is Twin Brook Farm, located here in Tioga County in Owego. I'm all grass-based, fed beef, and I just like it because I don't have to cultivate, I don't have to plow, and I don't have to lose much soil. Very limited amount of soil goes down these streams here, which I'm really...
Apparently we're having a video showing issue, which I promise we did actually even trial this before we played the videos. So let's try again. How about now?
I see video now, looking good.
Yay. and you have computer audio. So let's try it this way.
My name is Moyer. This is Twin Brook Farm, located here in Tioga County in Owego. I'm all grass-based, fed beef, and I just like it because I don't have to cultivate, I don't have to plow, and I don't have to lose much soil. Very limited amount of soil goes down these streams here, which I'm really proud of.
Hi, I'm Danielle Singer from Tioga County Soil and Water Conservation District. We chose to apply for the USC Water Quality Funding Program for this project because it fit the objectives of the project well. This is a proactive approach to allow the farmer to extend his good stewardship onto more ground while addressing the stream corridor with best management practices. We saw the huge conservation value in this project, and we were excited to be able to partner with the USC on it.
Where we're standing here, this used to be my neighbor's property, and he downsized and wanted to get rid of some of his land, and it was right next to mine. I couldn't refuse, and fortunately I had some finances to do it, but it was all cropland and I grassed. So I asked around, and I went to Soil and Water. I said, is there any money for fencing? And they said, no, not really. But wait a minute, do you have a stream on your property? I said, I sure do.
This stream had a berm along both sides. One side was a little higher than the other, but it was approximately 3 acres of berm that got removed from the sides of the stream. The reason why we want to remove berms from streams is the water doesn't have anywhere to go during a high flow event. During a flood, that water is just going to rush down the stream channel, and without the berm, it's able to access the floodplain and spread out and slow down and infiltrate. The benefits of the buffer include filtering water before it gets to the stream, so improving water quality, providing habitat for aquatic and terrestrial wildlife. Another really important benefit of having trees along the stream banks is stability. The roots stabilize the sediment on the stream banks as they grow and get taller.
We've got a good system here, and it's well thought out, it's well done, and I expect little maintenance on it. Gave me a good opportunity to be able to move forward and not worry about some of the other little things that take up a lot of our time.
In total, the project at Twin Brook Farm removed 3 acres of berms, installed 5 acres of buffer, 11,000 feet of fence, 2 watering systems, and created 87 acres of pasture for rotational grazing.
I'll say the people at Soil and Water were great to work with. Their ideas were great, and I followed most of them, and I think they did listen to me a few times when I was concerned about certain things. So it was a good give and take, and a great group to work with.
So that's just an example of one of the videos that we made. And then I thought it would be important to go into some of the things that I learned while making the videos. So let me share back to the presentation. So you guys can see the lessons learned now? Okay, perfect. So some of the lessons that we learned specifically in that first video that we watched, your phone needs to be held horizontally. So the Moyer video was the first one that we did, and I didn't realize that at the time. So when putting that footage into the video editing software, it couldn't be blown up big enough. So always have to take the video in landscape. The next thing was checking the weather forecast. So definitely something that I hadn't considered, but you want to see if it's going to be gloomy, rainy, or even windy. Wind was impossible to escape at some of the sites that we went to. So you can try to hide from it in a low area, such as a creek bed. or a location with trees, kind of like the buffer that we were in. But it's incredible how much wind noise you still pick up with the microphone. However, the microphone also was not the be-all end-all solution. Sometimes there is just too much wind. So if you notice that, you're better off just rescheduling. The next thing was frequencies from electronic transmitters. So we were out at a site in Cortland doing a video, and we used the little microphone because it was very windy. And when he stood next to the electric fence, you could hear the frequency tick in the video. Luckily, we were able to utilize some audio editing software that's also from Cyberlink to help remove some of that frequency noise. I was able to use it free for 30 days, so that's something also to consider. However, in the future, it could cost an additional $100 to have that software if it's something that we were looking to utilize frequently. Another thing that came into consideration at that Cortland visit was the microphone cord length. In that first video that we watched for the Moyer farm, we didn't use any microphone, and Marvin was able to stand far enough away, but we were also able to still hear the audio really well. The microphone cord length is 12.8 feet, and while it seems like a lot, it's really not. Another consideration is to get a lot of site pictures and videos. So essentially, the more pictures and videos, the better. We leaned on the districts and the landowners for pictures and videos. Being able to show the work completed is just as important as hearing about it. So being able to tie the footage in to what the customer is saying is crucial. There really is no such thing as too many pictures or videos. Another section that's important is to consider is breaking the clips into sections. The video editing becomes a lot more simple if you just take shorter clips. So usually like a minute to 2 minutes I try to focus on. And then learning software takes time. While I did mention that Powerdirector is very user-friendly, it was not user-friendly when I had no idea how to use it. You will not be a master at the software overnight, so you should anticipate that it will take much longer than you think it should. And finally, video editing takes time. It's not easy. It's not as easy as going out and getting the footage, bringing it back and slapping it together. To make a finished product, there's a lot of editing that has to take place. It's a lot of clipping and tying videos and pictures together. And then some additional considerations when making videos that are important. It's really important to mention the funding sources when you're making the video. Including names of funders is a great way for them to be recognized. Also including information on our partnerships. Projects often take multiple different partners to complete, so it's great to acknowledge all of them. If they share the video on, for example, a social media site, then you just increased your audience reach by a lot. So tagging agencies who participated in the projects is really beneficial. Also keeping it brief. Videos are cool. They show and tell your story. However, the longer they are, the more risk you run into losing your audience. So we tried to stay somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes for each video. And then being your own cheerleader. So sometimes making these videos is challenging and it might seem a little bit cheesy, but it's really important to remember that we're trying to sell the work that we do and promote services that we provide. So you have to be your own cheerleader here. And lastly, let the customer tell their own story. Don't feed them scripts. When it's in their own words, it's much more natural. You have the power to edit it, but when you let them speak unscripted, sometimes that's really where their best statements come from. You don't want it to feel forced or scripted, as the whole goal is to remain as genuine as possible. We're just trying to get the landowners to make connections back to the positive experiences that they had while working with us. And that is a little bit about the testimonials that we put together. Does anybody have questions?
Yeah, we have a few questions in the chat. First question is, can you provide an estimate of how long it took you to complete the video that you just shared, from fieldwork to making the video into a finished product?
So I would say you should anticipate a half a day in the field and then at least another 2 days total of video editing. So I would say roughly 20 hours per video. It definitely gets easier when you have everything that you need. For example, the video that I talked about where the wind became a huge issue, that video I spent much more time on because trying to edit that audio to make it right was very time consuming. The Moyer video that we made was very easy. I would say that one probably even took less time, maybe 15 hours, but we had access to unlimited video and pictures.
The next question is, what do you think about shooting the interviews indoors and only shooting outside for the B-roll?
We could have shot indoor, but because we were dealing with the pandemic, I didn't approach that. I also thought it was nice to shoot outdoors because you were able to actually see the project.
All right.
And you all probably hear the dog going crazy. I'm sorry.
No
Apparently
worries.
the UPS man is here. Perfect timing.
Those are all the questions we have in the chat right now. Folks, if you want to pop in a few more, Miranda's here to answer your questions. And while you guys do that, I'm actually going to take control of the screen, Miranda, and show next week's stuff so that everyone has the information of what's still to come for our last 2 Watershed Wednesdays. All right, and now that that's up, we have another question. This is, Alyssa says, I've never put a video together, but plan to. Do you have any trouble exporting or posting anywhere? Any length requirements for particular sites?
There was no issue in terms of posting to any of the sites. The videos are pretty large in size, but it hasn't been an issue. The only thing that I've run into is the amount of time it takes to upload a video. So while working remotely, for example, our internet speed at home isn't fast enough to upload the videos. So I have to go to the office and do that. So that's definitely something to keep into consideration.
Awesome. And another question here, it's easy enough to include, is it easy enough to include other video footage like drone footage?
For sure. So in that Moyer video, we included quite a bit of drone footage. That's one of the things I had mentioned, there being no such thing as too much video and photo. The software makes it really easy to click and drag other clips in. So just like, again, in the Moyer video, I think there's some footage of the cows drinking. It's just really simple stuff. And putting any type of footage in is simple.
All right. We had another question pop in, but you answered it while answering the previous one. So, all right. Are there any other questions?
So I'll just say we did a total of 4 of them. So you guys just saw one of them, but if you're interested in watching the rest of them, the goal is to get them up on the USC Facebook page at some point next week. And it'll just kind of give you a better idea of how the other 4 turned out, or the other 3 rather, turned out. And I think that you can see through each one those lessons learned. I did not buy the music. It was all royalty free. There was 2 different websites that I used. One was Ben Sound, and I can't recall the name of the other one, but I could look into that for you if it's helpful. The only catch was when putting them on social media or like YouTube, you just have to give credit for the music in the video description. And yes, Lydia is correct. There's also a Hickory's Park video on the USC Facebook page, and that's another one that we developed with the same software. And I also will mention the really quickly, the beneficial, the reach that you can have on social media. Tioga County independently premiered a series called the Tioga County Dairy Tales. And that was 5 videos of Tioga County farms, just a little bit of farm history, and also some types of BMPs that they had implemented. And we had over 85,000 video views. So it's really impressive to see the goal or the work that can be accomplished through social media. So I think more than ever, it's really important to be doing this work now. I have another question. It was just a private one, but I'll read it. Is there other soil and water folks that we could partner with to do video editing? Someone who is really good at it. I'm not aware of any other districts that are using any video editing software currently, but Melissa Urick from the USC, her and I both have the same Powerdirector editing software. And I would say if you want to start your own video, you can get a free 30-day trial of Powerdirector. And if you have questions or run into roadblocks, I would say Melissa and I would both be happy to help if you reach out to either one of us.
Very good. If there are no other questions, actually, I believe you had another video that you wanted
yeah,
to share.
we could watch another one if there are no questions. I didn't know how much time we would have, but if there's
just a few minutes, so folks are welcome to stay on and watch another one of these videos with us if you'd like. If not, we totally understand, and we hope you have a great day. And join us next week for valuing our kettle lakes. So yeah, take it away, Miranda. Let's watch another one.
All right, let me share. I have audio, and this one is from Bradford County.
I'm Joe Catrini with the Bradford County Conservation District, and today we're here on the farm of Aaron Signor along Browns Creek, which is a major tributary to Sugar Creek. Sugar Creek is one of the larger watersheds in Bradford County that drains to the Susquehanna River.
I'm Aaron Signor, owner of Signor Farms. We raise Scottish Highlanders for beef. We've been in the business for 10 years. We have 87 acres here. Approximately 60 acres are tillable. Some of that split up with pastures that we graze. So the issue I was experiencing was bank erosion and stream migration. And I was trying to save valuable tillable land that was being encroached upon by the stream. So in 2015, I contacted the Conservation District to learn about preserving the stream and the stream beds. And, we started bouncing ideas off each other and seeing what, would be best for long-term goals in preserving the stream banks. In past years with flooding, where we're standing was not actually the creek bed. We have moved, 20 feet this way in a short amount of time, and my goal was to preserve, what we had from destroying more land that would make it unusable.
So the work on Browns Creek really started back in 2006. We worked with the Sugar Creek Watershed Association to do a complete inventory of all the erosion sites in the Sugar Creek watershed. So Browns Creek is one of those streams that we did an assessment on. So we had historic data on some of the erosion sites and the concerns that we have with stream bank erosion and property loss. From there, we worked with the Sugar Creek Watershed Association again and received some grant funding to do additional work in Browns Creek watershed. We had some additional funding to do a small project here on this farm. However, the farm was in a previous owner's hand and they didn't want to continue with the project. So a few years went by and Aaron purchased the farm, and he showed an interest and an enthusiasm about preserving his land and making some environmental habitat improvements within the stream corridor. When we approach a landowner, we're always looking at the environmental improvements, but we really want to tie with that limited funding that we had through the Growing Greener grant, we came up with a plan and to do a complete restoration of the whole farm in this stream corridor here. We reached out to the Upper Susquehanna Coalition for additional funding. So through a NIFWIF grant USC had, we were able to do work all the way through this corridor and install really substantial riparian buffer and do a lot of grazing fencing that we wouldn't have been able to do with just that original Growing Greener grant.
Yeah, so my experience working with the Bradford County Conservation District was good, that it brought a lot of different outside ideas. Working with the ag team, we were able to bring together all of our ideas to make an efficient operation that lasts for many, many years.
Yeah, it was really a kind of coordinated effort. We were really happy to work with an engaged, enthusiastic landowner who had a lot of ideas of his own that he brought to the table. So we never really want to go to a farm and kind of tell them what they have to do. So we worked with his management style, and he had a lot of great ideas, and we kind of brought that all together from a technical stream standpoint and from an agricultural team standpoint, and did a really great complete project on the farm here.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us again, everyone. Like I said, join us next week, and we are excited to see you for valuing our Kettle Lakes, and have a wonderful day.